Welcome back to EV Reviews, my little random YouTube channel here. And first off, thank you for 50,000 views that my last two videos got in a couple of weeks since I posted them. Very happy about that, to see there's that much interest in the Rivian, and I wanted to fill you in a little bit on going close to a month and 1,000 miles now with the truck, of some of the details and the quirks and features that we learned about the truck. So let's get going and let's talk about that. First off, this morning, and I'm still here, I took the truck to a little bit of bird viewing. I'm out on Sanibel Island. There's a wildlife preserve called the Jading Darling Bird Sanctuary. A beautiful spot to go to. Highly populated in season by migratory birds and in off season by mosquitoes and no-see-ums also. But you can't take that personal. But what occurred to me when I was driving slowly through the preserve while I was watching for the birds with the windows down is that as soon as you put the Rivian, there's a couple of rather noisy fans in the front of the vehicle that come on, it seems, regardless of other circumstances. I'm not exactly sure what they're for, to be honest, at this point, since there was no heat load really on anything that would need to be dispersed. But that just stood out to me a little bit different, as where the Tesla would ramp up its fans as needed, but also shut them down if they weren't obviously needed. The Rivian seems to always have this ambient running noise of these fans in the front, a little louder than I recalled. I also got to use the truck in the meantime a couple of times for its truck purpose. Not that I loaded it heavily, and there's great videos out there from out of spec and so forth showing all the stuff you can load and everything in there. But I'm still happy to say, like, I got some big FedEx boxes right now in the truck bed and also in the gear tunnel that I'm using for the first time for that. And the other day when we did some gardening, I used it to go to Home Depot and load up on those things and put actually the plants also in the gear tunnel. It's practical, so it's working great. I have not had any functional kind of issues whatsoever. Also got a couple of comments on my last video in regards to people asking about the 70% charge, why only charge to 70? Well, it's the Rivian recommendation right now for daily driving for minimal battery degradation. I used the 100% setting in the beginning to see the maximum range that I can get out of the truck in a best case scenario. But right now, to my normal charging in the garage overnight is from a low mileage state of battery left back to the 70%, 220 miles of range overnight on my 50 amp 240 volt outlet in about 8 hours. And that works flawless. I'm still using my Tesla charger with the adapter that I bought last year already for my Audi e-tron GT over Amazon for $100 and change, that just plugs right on the front of the adapter, and then it plugs into your charge port in the front of the car. One other thing that stood out to me, and that's not necessarily in the best way, I saw a couple of comments to that too, is the navigation system. And this morning when I was navigating from my house out here to Sanibel, the navigation system told me that they couldn't tell me if I was going to make it to my destination since the system was offline. And I assume the remote system that basically coordinates traffic and other data with the car's data, because the car has had a over 200 mile battery state of charge, so that was not the concern. So there's still a little bit of learning curve or lag, I guess, on Rivian's side in getting their navigation functions up to par with what we're used to now from several other manufacturers, whereas the cars themselves work fine. But the system also sometimes lags a little bit when you're loading Spotify or if you're switching between functions. So room for improvement there. Nothing that if I was you and considering getting in the vehicle that would deter me from buying it. But there's room for improvement, which the nice thing is with the over-the-air software updates, they can clearly address that and fix that. And this is what makes this new generation of software-based vehicles, let's call it, so much better suited for, you know, the future. Because once you buy a car, the development of the car doesn't stop. It continues as the manufacturers learn from other drivers and a bigger fleet getting out on the road what would improve and benefit the car and the users. I also made my first appointment with Rivian service in the meantime, and this is still to work out the few issues that we had upon delivery. There were some small paint chips on the front corners of the hood that they said they want to take care of, and I actually asked not to repaint the hood if that would be something they would consider, but to touch it up because they are hardly visible when you're outside the truck, and I don't want to have a respray on the hood. I don't think that's going to match as well. They're going to replace a piece of PPF on the gear tunnel, and they're going to get me my full spare tire, which was an IOU on delivery. And I have a small wheel vibration when you get up to highway speed. I pointed that out to them. They will look at that, and for that purpose they will actually come pick up my truck via flatbed and haul it to the service center, which is about a 3 hours drive away. Those are some of the growing pains I'm seeing on the side of the manufacturer, that as long as they solve it this way and they're giving me a rental car, it's not a real inconvenience to me. I do prefer if they can go to mobile service more. They said to a certain extent they could have done this if it wasn't for the paint correction, because it's less money that Rivian has to spend on that. It's nearly, I'm sad to waste their money on them having to do this and getting the truck all the way to Orlando from here. But as part of the growth, if not the service centers are everywhere, these are some of the things that the manufacturers, when they're new, are struggling with. I also got by FedEx in the meantime, about a week or 10 days ago, my adventure gear that I ordered with the truck. So if you order a couple of those things, they come separately, and I made a little unboxing video, so let me show you how that went. So a little bit over a couple of weeks ago, I took delivery of my Rivian, and as you might know, if you order the off-road recovery kit or the field kit as options with the car, they don't come in the car, they get delivered separately. Rivian sends you a follow-up email, ultimately with a tracking announcement delivery. And just today, UPS Ground delivered these items to my door. That tonneau cover makes a little noise. So I got these delivered to my door just a little bit ago, and let's do a little unboxing and see what we got here. So let's look at the smaller box first. This is the so-called field kit. Let me kind of make sure I don't cut into it accidentally. Comes in the same nice little black fabric bag that you already know probably from the first aid kit that comes with a car, and that is in the door on the one side to the gear tunnel. And this has a shape that it should fit perfectly in the other side of it. Has a nice little carry handle, typical Rivian yellow on there, color that I love on my car. It says field kit there in small letters on it. And let's open the main zipper. So this is like a medical kit when you're really out in the middle of nowhere and you got to doctor yourself back together, which I'm probably not qualified to, but at least. And there's some inventory. There's a lot of different things in there. You have then all kinds of things that you might need for survival. And I guess if I was put, oh look, a little shovel in there. How cute is that? That would come in handy. Not sure if this is, it does look like a lint roller, right? No, but it's duct tape and a rope. So it's all kinds of little things that in a survival scenario like this little rain poncho would come in handy, but that you hope that you don't need. My only chance for using this would probably be medical stuff. If I get stuck somewhere in the Everglades here close by, because that's not too far from where we are. So this is the field kit. Now onto the funner. Oh, I need to put that back in. This, by the way, is a personal water filter, so you can make swamp water drinkable. Don't take my word for that. This was not medical advice. The second part, this should be a little bit more fun to look at, is the off-road recovery kit. And that's in this little bit bigger box. Also comes in a nice bag. Let's take it out. So this is the carrying bag for that. I think the field kit is about $150. This one, if I remember correctly, they charge you $600 for. It has a couple of really, that is a very nice heavy duty tree saver toe strap, rated for 9,300 pounds vertical. And if I open this up a little bit, I can read 18,600 pounds basket lift weight, 7,400 pounds as a choker, and then as a toe weight, it's probably going to be significantly more than that. So this is the heavy duty one. And then you also get the second one, which is significantly longer but not as heavy duty. This is a 6,000 pounds vertical, 4960 choker, 12,400 in a basket use. So two really big heavy toe straps, then little pockets in here. You get a carabiner, nice and heavy duty, coated on this side. For the tow hitch, just to pull, comes with its own pin. So even if you don't have a tow hitch, you get this with this package, so you can use it to hook something up to it. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Well, this is an interesting contraption. I need to read up on that. It's for proper rigging. Okay, so this is rigging to put toe straps together, pull this through, makes sense. They give you a couple of those. And some gloves. Too bad those are not Rivian branded, right? That would have been the kicker on those. But this is, as far as I can see right now, the content of this bag. Nothing here on the outside. No, I think this is that, plus this little envelope where I have no idea what's in there. Let's see. I can probably figure this out real quick. Okay, instructions on how to do this. Basically, towing for dummies. Tells you what to tow, how to rig this together. So these are these two kits that I now have, that I'm going to find a spot for in the vehicle, that I got today. So now at least I got stuff to do if I should ever get stuck off-road or out of town with those things. A few more things. The truck is still getting lots of looks and comments. It's still a novelty in most market, I guess, where you're getting one of these trucks now, which, like I said in the last video, is kind of fun for me to talk with people about it and explain it. Range is always the first question. How far do you get? Does it get enough range? And I think the answer to this is yes. The truck at night, the light signature, and especially the entry lights with the Rivian logo looks spectacular. When you come up to the truck and unlocks, it's just such a little detail, but it's a nice one. And then one other thing that just came to my mind on the functionality side is to the app. I mentioned this before. There's still some work to be done, and the communication also doesn't seem to be going two ways the way you would expect it necessarily, where the app, if the car is done charging, does not necessarily know what happened with the last charge or can't retrieve the data. So I hope they're gonna fix that in one of the next software updates, so that we get a little bit more functionality and historical info out of the app in that regard. Wanted to say one more thing in regards to the wheels. I did order my truck on the 21-inch street tires, Pirelli Scorpions, which is a very nice riding tire and a quiet tire. which I really think is the difference to the off-road tires. But the off-road tire is a great looking. It fits the truck well, and if you're doing off-roading, I mean, obviously, I guess that's what you want to do, and you see the black wheels. So I ordered the 21-inch wheels standard with the aero caps, and I pulled the aero caps off the first day after I got the truck, because I think similar to the Tesla Model S Plaid on the 19s, once you pull the aero cap, you're actually left with a very nice looking alloy wheel. The only thing I'm still looking for is center caps to plug the hole in the center of the wheel, and there does not seem to be an aftermarket or a Rivian part for that out there that fits these wheels. So if you have a lead for that, please let me know in the comments. I would appreciate that. I'm sure sooner or later with demand somebody will make those, and then I can plug those holes. And for a long range trip, I would probably put the aero lids back on if I'm planning for that. But otherwise, it's tough for me to distinguish in city driving if it really has a discernible impact on the range, on the daily range of the Rivian. So for the time being, I'm perfectly happy with that scenario, and I think I will get a much better range on these than you get on the bigger tires or on the off-road tires. So for me, that's a happy compromise, since I'm driving on the road 99.9% of the time here. If you want to find out how my first service appointment went, that is scheduled now for next week, as well as my upcoming paint protection film and ceramic coating that is also scheduled for soon to be applied to the truck, just hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it when this comes out, and I will keep you posted about the life with the Rivian. Until then.